is From the Big House to the Penthouse podcast. Stories of addiction and recovery. The lie is dead. We do recover.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of From the Big House to the Penthouse, Stories of Addiction and Recovery, with your host, as always, Ricky Cruz.
And Raul Moreno. How was your weekend, brother?
Man, you know what? I don't think I did.
You sat at home. you went from one side of the room to the other. Huh?
Man, hold up. Oh, no, it was Halloween.
What? Oh, that's right. It was Halloween.
I went.
Did you dress up sexy?
No, man, I was with the kids, or else I would have.
You're ready to become a freak.
Yeah, I couldn't.
I know that's right. Hey, man, listen. We've got a special guest, brother. We've got a special guest, man. My good friend, Ronnie, man. Well, introduce yourself, Ronnie.
Ronnie.
What's
Ronnie?
up?
Ronnie. Y'all settle down.
Settle down. Bring it back. What's up, Ronnie?
What's going on, guys? I just want to thank y'all for this opportunity, Raul, Ricky, for having me to just talk about experience, strength, and hope. And I'm thankful for the opportunity. Thank y'all so much.
Nah, man, we're glad you're here.
I'm glad you're here, man. Yeah.
Ricky had a lot of amazing things to say about you, man. And that's awesome. I heard y'all known each other for a minute, huh?
Yes,
We've
sir.
known each other for a good while, man. Over a decade now, man. And I'm happy to say that, man. I'm going to tell you something. Let me tell you something about Ronnie. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Ronnie. He was there when I first walked in, Raul. He was there when I first walked in. And I'm going to tell you that when I first walked into rooms of recovery, man, I was like, who the hell is this guy, man? As crazy as this guy is. I mean, he was talking some pretty crazy shit. I was,
Ronnie was?
Ronnie, man.
Okay.
He's acting shy right here, man. This is just but no, I'm going to tell you that when I walked in, man, and I heard him share, my thing was, wow, you mean, you've got a little bit over 2.5, almost 3 years clean. I said, and you still act this way? Hey, wait a minute, man. I thought we got better after we got clean.
You said you still act this way.
Yeah, I was like, man, he was crazy. I mean, some of the stuff he was talking about, but you know what? Really, to be honest with you, Raul, is what attracted me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see a lot of yourself?
I saw a lot of myself.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I saw a lot of myself in Ronnie and some of the other folks that were there when I first walked in, man. And of course, when I first walked in, I don't remember a lot. A lot of the stuff, my brain today, it blocks it out.
When you first walked in the doors, is that like when you started your sobriety, or was that one time and then you started over, or the first time?
I started over a couple of times. Look, let me tell you something.
Okay.
In fact, Jimmy H was there with us, man. And Jimmy, I'm going to tell you something. When I first walked in a couple of times, Ronnie was there, and Rachel and Andre, and a bunch of Jeff, and I can go on and so on about other people that were there in the beginning. But when I first walked in, I lost my train of thought. When I first walked in, I relapsed several times. In fact, I shared one time, and I don't know if Ronnie was there. I know Jimmy came looking for me. I walked in, tried to stay clean. I made it stay clean 2-3 weeks, and I relapsed. And I remember that I was working at the little shop. Jimmy came looking for me because I wasn't going back to the meetings. And when I saw Jimmy out on the street, I hid behind a toolbox. I was like this. Acting like a post,
Like you closed your eyes so he couldn't see you.
So he would see me, and he was driving real slow, I guess, checking to see why I wasn't back at the meetings and so on and so forth. And I remember that I was getting high. I was doing blow at the shop. At the shop during the middle of the day. That's when my addiction got really, went from nighttime and just doing it at night to the daytime. That's when it started. My addiction started to progress. But anyway, that's about the time that Ronnie. I was introduced, and who Ronnie was. I was actually, to be honest with you, man, I didn't really want to talk to him a whole lot because I was intimidated.
You were intimidated by Ronnie?
I never told him, but I was intimidated because he talked really hard. He talked really crazy. He talked really a lot of crazy things, man. And I was like, man, this guy's just crazy. If I walk up to him, he's gonna say, "What the hell?" What the? And I'm like, So I kind of did, I kept my distance. But there was this little short blonde girl that was kind of with him all the time. I was like, well, he's kind of friendly with her. Maybe he is okay, right?
Yeah.
But there's a story all behind that. And I want Ronnie, like I say, we've introduced Ronnie. This is Ronnie. I want him to introduce himself, and I want him to start to tell us from the beginning. Ronnie, tell us. So that we can go back to that.
Start with where you're from, man. Start with where you're from, and I see for Baltimore. I see the Ravens sweater you have on.
I'll let you know.
So first of all, guys, I just want to say a few things. That the lie is dead.
The lie is dead,
We
brother.
do recover. Absolutely.
We do recover.
Yes, sir.
I also want to say to people out there listening or watching or whatever they're doing, if you're clean today, it's a big deal. I want y'all to know that. It's a big deal if you're clean today. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I was born and raised in Baltimore. Had a pretty good upbringing. Normal, whatever you call suburban life, I guess you would say. But I started doing drugs at an early age, about probably 13, 14.
Oh, really? That young?
Started, drinking, smoking, the regular kumbaya bullshit that we do. And, probably around 17, I started trying the hard stuff. I started shooting heroin
at 13, or a little bit later on. You okay? You were a little older.
Let me ask you, man. I don't want to interrupt you.
No,
I want to finish your story. But what made you do it? Was there like a trauma, or you just saw other people doing it, or?
To be honest, I lost my sister when she was 6, so I was probably 9 years old. Looking back now, I didn't think it really played a part, but it really did. Now, I mean, I still get emotional thinking about it. It's been 30-some years.
Really?
Just because it's so long ago, that means you forget.
Right.
Or don't feel.
Yeah.
So how old was your sister, Ronnie, when you lost her? And what did you lose her to, if you don't mind me asking?
She had a heart problem.
Okay.
And,
it was medical.
It was medical. But it was devastating, man.
Wow, I'm not going to imagine.
And I wasn't really a godly person at that time. And the little bit I did, I was like, well, if you're going to let this happen to my sister, fuck off.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
And so a lot of my friends were into heavy drugs. I mean, you are part of the environment you come up in.
So is that what it was? Baltimore was like that?
Baltimore ain't no joke when it comes to it. And not that every place isn't crazy, but Baltimore is really, really bad with heroin.
No, yeah, I've read that. I mean, I've seen some shows about that. Baltimore at one time is the capital of the capital of H.
Yes, sir.
Of users or distributing?
Both.
Oh, no shit.
And ODs and problems. Yeah, they had a big problem. Absolutely.
Okay.
And it's still a big problem.
Yeah, till this day.
Till this day.
I was reading a little, probably yesterday, I read some stuff that said every 10 minutes somebody dies from opiates.
Yeah.
That's fucking terrible.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
That's unacceptable.
So is there in Baltimore, being that you're from Baltimore, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, is there any like clinics that are helping with that you know of, or at the time when you were trying to, I don't know if you were trying to get clean at the time, Ronnie, but I know you have, I want you to share your story about, of what you shared with us before in the group. You have a really interesting story, man. But is there at the time when did you ever think that you wanted to say get clean? Was there any medical? They call them like clinics, right? That would go for people that would folks that would want to get clean. There was an option, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Was there anything, and somewhere in your story there?
So there wasn't a whole lot of opportunities like that then, because you got to figure that was 15, 20 years ago. But they do have a lot of clinics now that are trying to help people. But the problem is you help somebody get off one drug and you're putting them on another drug. You know, so it's like you're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
You know. But for me, you know, probably at 17, I shot dope for the first time, of course. I didn't like it. I was like, I don't want this shit. And, you know, at that point, my friends, you know, 5 of my close friends, they were heavy into it. They were doing it every day, had already had a habit.
And they were all about the same age?
We were all about, we all graduated the same. And I was like, you know, I just don't like it. And, you know, they kept doing what they're doing. I'd smoke, drink a little bit. And then at 18, again, I tried shooting it again. And it was over.
You loved it. You fell in love.
I loved it.
What did you feel?
The hole in my heart was full.
That's what's up.
It was
Oh,
filled.
wow. I never heard that.
It was filled with the dope.
Yeah.
The dope filled it for me.
Yeah.
You know, because us as addicts, we just want to not feel. That is our main focus. That is our main priority. It's not to feel anything and to escape from reality.
Man, that's exactly word for word what we said.
You know, and so you know, I was ashamed, man. I didn't, when I was 13, 14, I didn't wake up and say, man, I'm gonna be the greatest heroin addict ever.
Yeah, well, shit.
I'm gonna be the greatest.
I hope there's an Olympics.
For this, man.
Like what the fuck? Like and you know how everything that comes with addiction, man, the pain, the heartache, the turmoil, all the stuff that happens with you using dope, because it don't just affect you. And I used to think that for so long. I was like, man, it's just affecting me.
Right,
if I die, it's just me.
Yeah.
You don't look at the bigger picture.
The bigger picture. Yeah.
How everybody else is suffering. Yeah.
Why everybody else is suffering. You know, I couldn't see that. But when you're in the throes of addiction, you can't see none of that shit. All you can see is, where can I go to get my next fix? And we'll worry about the other shit later.
What during that time of your life, man, how was your relationship with your family?
Me and my dad have always had a real good relationship. Even though I was bullshitting and chucking and jiving.
Yeah.
Me and him have always had a good relationship. You know, the first rehab I went to, when I actually realized it, because a whole bunch of my friends went to rehab, and I was like, well, now's the perfect time.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think I was 18. I'm pretty sure I was 18. I went to Mercy Hospital, and you know, I really wasn't about. I just wanted to chill out for a couple of days. I knew I wasn't going to get clean.
Oh, so you just wanted to get away?
Just wanted to get away for a few days.
Yeah.
You know, get some clean underwear on, take a shower. You know,
right.
So you were on the street?
No, not at that point.
At that point,
not at that point.
All right.
So I went to Mercy Hospital, which is in downtown Baltimore, and they put me in this little bunk with this guy. And you know, at 18, can't tell me shit. Even though I'm in a rehab, I got all the answers. I got it all figured out.
Yeah.
When I get out of here, I'm gonna do this, and this, and you ain't doing shit except putting a needle in your arm. And the gentleman Dave, it's a guy I bunked with, who I was in the room with, and me and him sat down the second evening I was there, and he said, Ronnie, I want to talk to you about something. I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. And he's probably 55, something like that. And
at the time,
he was probably 55, and I'm 18, so I'm just
right.
Don't know shit about shit. And he said, I want to tell you something. And I was like, yeah, man. I said, go ahead, you know. And he said, if you continue to do what you do right now, you'll end up like me, and you'll have nothing. You'll have no family to call. You'll have nothing.
Yeah.
You'll lose everything. 18 years old.
Yeah, right.
Bro, that ain't gonna be me. Right. You're fucking delusional. That's not me. You know, I got a good family. They're gonna take care of me. Blase, you know. And I'll segue into that later. But you know, I signed myself out. Of course, 2 days in, and went right back to it. You know, started shooting up again, and that lasted for about 2 years. I went into multiple rehabs, and nothing stuck, man. Nothing stuck. I just wanted to. I really just wanted to die, and I was hoping that this would help the process.
That was the main goal.
That was the main goal. Absolutely.
Damn.
Because I wanted to stop feeling. You know, because sooner or later you have a habit.
Right.
The dope ain't doing what it's supposed to do anymore. So now I'm dope sick. You know, from heroin you're shaking. You don't get a fix. You know, you're in a bind. And you know, I just wanted to escape, man. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to feel anymore.
Damn.
You know, so
You know, okay, so you were how far deep were you in addiction? How many years was this?
Probably 3 or 4 years in.
And at this time, did your family realize what was going on?
So that when I went to Mercy Hospital the first time, I told my parents that I had a pill problem.
Oh, okay.
Because if you look at it then, pills are like, okay, well, they're not as bad as heroin. And shooting up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, and I was ashamed. I was fucking ashamed, man. I didn't want to tell my father that, hey, your son's sticking needles in his arms.
Yeah.
He's a junkie.
Son.
He's a junkie.
He's a fucking junkie. Hi, Dad. Love you.
Yeah.
You know?
Shit.
Put your wallet up.
Exactly. You know, so I kind of tried to cover it up. You know, there was a night that comes into question, probably 4 years in, and I decided I was going to turn my phone off and I was going to try to shoot as much dope as I can and hope it killed me. Like that was my plan. I went downtown after work, got as much dope as I could, and hoped to die.
Yeah,
that was my plan. Of course, I lived, and I finally came home, and they had the cops looking for me and all kind of shit. And I come home, and my dad's like, you know, pull your arms up. I mean, pull your sleeves up, because I had long sleeves. And I've been shooting up so much, there was blood running down both arms.
So he knew it, huh?
I'm going to tell you, man, I've seen a lot of shit in life. And to see your dad, the look he gave me, it's, I'll never forget it. You know, it was pain, it was heartache, it was disappointment. It was so many things, you know, wound up into one. And he's like, you got to get out. You got to go. Of course, I'm high on dope, so I'm like, whatever. It's cool, man. You know, I don't need y'all. All that stupid shit that we do, you know, and Lord knows I needed him more than ever now.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a couple other things that happened. I won't go into detail, but you know, I knew I needed help. I had already been to 2 rehabs at that point. I knew that they fired me from the job. They actually had called me in and said, hey, we know you have a problem. We're willing to pay to get you help.
What were you doing at the time?
I was doing refrigeration work.
Okay, yeah.
So we would work in D.C. and Virginia and stuff like that. I mean, I had a decent job, but I missed a lot of time because I, you know, got to get high before I do anything. If I don't get high, I ain't going to work, you know. And they offered to pay for everything. I'll pay for your rehab. The guy was a real good dude, and I was just like, nah, I'll go get another job. And, of course, it's everybody else's fault.
Right.
It ain't Ronnie Edward Moeller III's fault. It's y'all's fault that I'm this way.
Let me come in a little later, man.
Yeah,
you know, like this bullshit of wanting to come in at 8:05.
If I can come in at 10, everything's straight.
Cool.
You know?
Yeah, it would be fine.
But you know how that goes, man. We don't take a look at ourselves until we have to take a look at ourselves. You know? And so that went on for another year or so. And then, of course, I couldn't go back home. So I stayed with a buddy, Chris, of mine, that I still talk to. He let me stay for a little while. And he had little babies, man. And I was still shooting up. I'm like, man, I got these needles in here. And they're little kids, man. And I was like, it made me feel real uneasy. Not that I had any morals or anything. I was living by at that point anyway. But I was like, you know what? This is fucked up.
And he wasn't a user?
He wasn't a user at all.
Oh, shit.
He's a dear friend of yours. Dear friend, he let you. He worked with you, but he cared about you.
He cared about me, man.
So how long did you know him?
Probably a year. I met him. I had a relationship with this girl, and I met him in the apartment complex, and he got me a job and everything. Like we were doing cement work. That shit's hard ass work.
You damn straight it is. Cement work, shoot.
And that was in Baltimore.
That was in Baltimore, man.
They have cement in Baltimore.
Yeah, it gets cold as fuck.
Hey, bro, imagine doing that shit in a Texas summer heat, man.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, me either.
So then what happened? This friend of yours. Let me. I'm interested in this, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
This friend of yours. You've only known him a year, dude. That's not a long time to know somebody.
Great dude, man.
Great dude, obviously, man.
Great dude.
He let you come live at his home with his children. He had a wife, he had a girlfriend, and he had a family. And you crashed at his. Set it up, man. You crashed in his living room, or you actually had a room there.
I actually had a room, man. I had a room.
Okay.
I had a room, and then
you were getting high in his house, and you were like,
I would try not to get high in the house because it made me feel uneasy.
Right.
Like I said, I had moral standards.
Right.
But with the baby in there, I was like, I can't do this, man. So that went on for like 6 or 8 months, and I called my dad. We were in Annapolis, Maryland, which is the capital of, and I was done, man. I said either one or two things are going to happen. Either I'm going to go run my car into something, or I'm going to go get some help, and I got to get the fuck out of here. So I called my dad, and I was like, hey, I'm in Annapolis. I know we haven't talked in a while. Like, we would talk periodically, like a couple of times a week. Even though he knew I wasn't doing right. Like,
right.
We still had a decent relationship where we could still talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I called him. I said, and I've been talking to my mom, who actually lives in Texas, my real mother who lives in Texas. And I called her that morning, and I was crying, and I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I need help. So my stepdad called my dad, and they hadn't always had a good relationship, but man, they came together when it came to me, man, and that's a big fucking deal.
Yeah, right.
Shout out to my pops.
Mm-hmm,
But they worked it out. I got on the plane, didn't tell nobody I was leaving. Left. Got on the plane that night. Adios.
Where'd you go?
Came to Texas.
That's when you came to Texas. That's when Ronnie M hits Texas,
That's
man. Did you land in Pearland? I mean, obviously you landed in Houston, right? No Pearland, but so did you?
Fucking Ricky.
Yeah.
We have an airport. We have a big airport here in Pearland.
It was in Hobby.
No, I'm sure. I know it was Hobby, doggone it, Ronnie. I know there's not. It's not like you helicopter here to Pearland.
How do you know he didn't?
Maybe you did, right? Maybe you did.
You never know, man. You never know.
But I mean, I guess what I meant to say, because where I met you met Ronnie here in Pearland. You came to Houston. Maybe you chilled in Houston for a while. You came straight to Pearland. Well, you don't even live in Pearland now.
No, my mother and my stepfather, they lived in Manville at the time.
Yeah.
So they had it all planned out. Once I got to Houston, they put me directly off the plane into UTMB. Down on the island, Jenny Sealy, I think.
Okay, right.
It was a psychiatric ward and a rehab at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So they had already had it worked out. I got off the plane, boom, went right to that little rehab.
What year was this?
This was 2003. 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
It was 2004, I think. And, got right off the plane, went there because I was withdrawing off of heroin, man. And they gave me some medicine. I probably slept for 2 or 3 days. And my mom, my little brother, my half brother, they came and seen me. But unfortunately, man, wherever I go, there I am. Wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
So just because Ronnie was in another state doesn't mean his circumstances changed, but his thought process doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I did good for a while. My stepdad had almost 25 years. He used to go to Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
So he had almost 25 years clean. And he told me, he's like, man, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
So that was for the first time in my life I actually had somebody like, and my dad was real supportive.
Dude, but let me ask you this, dude. Did you ever for 1 minute say, well, dude, you suffer from alcohol. I have a bigger problem than you. Did you ever think that, or is it just me that thinks like that? Because there was a point in my life, Ronnie, that I was like, this alcohol, man, I could just stop drinking. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because, dude, I stopped drinking for a year one time. I sincerely did. I quit drinking for a year, no problem. I didn't even go to recovery or nothing. I was like my early 20s. But I kept getting, in trouble and shit like that. And I just quit drinking for a year. But
were you doing drugs at the time?
Dude, I've done drugs all my life, but it never took
Would you say,
a
Lisa?
hold of me until a certain time in my life.
What did you do on your 1 year anniversary of
Oh, my 1 year anniversary, I went and got fucked up.
Wait.
I did. Yeah, I did. On my 1 year.
No shit.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I was gonna celebrate. I completed a year.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. Right.
I
It
did that
sounds
at 18
stupid.
months twice.
It sounds
No
stupid.
shit.
It
Yep.
sounds freaking stupid, dude. But check this out. I think Robert's mom was my oldest. She was, I wouldn't show up to things. I wouldn't bop. I went to a AA meeting over here at the church, St. Helens.
Yeah.
And dude, I went because I was just a screw up. I was So I started going to AA, and I went for a year. On the night that it would happen to be on a Friday, I got 1 year. I put 1 year together, dude. I was so proud of myself. And guess what? I got because they give you a medallion for, something. So I went, I got my medallion, everybody hoorah'd me, man. And then a buddy of mine, the same old story, man. Buddy of mine says, hey, man, let's go down to the hop. I was like, man, I don't drink. He says, man, you don't have to drink. I was like, so we went to the hop, man. My plan when I went to this club wasn't to drink. I was going to drink a soda, right? I was going to drink sodas, The music was pumping. There was more friends showed up, and I drank one beer, and then I got lost that night. And boom, blacked out. There went one whole year out the window. But my point was to that story was that, dude, at one time, and I'm going to tell you, Ronnie, when I walked into the meeting, and not that I'm jumping, over, because I'm interested in hearing that other step or what you're talking about, but at one time when I walked into the meeting and I was going to work, I wouldn't identify as as an NA addict. And I don't know, maybe I shared this with you or not, that I used to say that I was an AA. And I was like, the people were like, why? Well, I said, man, I was embarrassed for people to think that I was a recovering drug addict. I would prefer for people to think that I was a recovering alcoholic. It seemed like it was more sociably acceptable, So anyway, that's what I went through on that. And tell me about that with your stepdad.
You have to pay consequences.
Yeah.
So when I got down here, I realized that my license was suspended.
You realized that? You didn't know it?
Yeah, I didn't know it.
How did you realize that? You got stopped or what?
No, I actually tried to get my license or something, and they were like, "Yeah, your stuff's revoked in Maryland, so you can't get your license here." Because before you could do it state by state back in the day.
Yeah.
You could have not a license in Maryland, but you can in Texas. But then the computer's locked. You can't do
when
shit.
Computers came in, everybody's screwed.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a wrap. So
freaking computers.
So I couldn't get my license or a car for like a year and a half, And my stepdad, man, he got me a job. I worked at Freeman Decorating. We could do trade shows.
Right.
And that's what he did. And he got me a job, man. And that man would sit there even after he was off work and wait for me to get done work. So what I want to say is, and I'm not going to talk about him a lot, but I want y'all people to know that if you have one person in your corner, it's a big deal. One person.
Yeah.
Because one person can give you hope, one person can give you strength, and one person can show you how to be and not only persevere through things, but just try to live life to the best of your ability.
That one person gives you hope, huh? Just hope?
He gave me a lot. He gave me a lot of stuff, man. He made me believe in myself for the first time. And I was 24 years old for the first time. But it doesn't stop there. I get a car, get the license back, and now I'm hot shit. And I was going to meetings, and like I said, I got 18 months twice, and then went back out. Through all that, you got 18 months twice here in Texas. In Texas, twice.
So you put 18 months together.
Twice.
And tell me how you went back out the first time, if you don't mind. Yeah, tell me how it led up to that. I'd like to know your train of thought, man.
So I never worked on me. Like, I can change my circumstances or where
But you went to meetings. How did you not work on you? What does that mean? If you don't mind elaborating on that.
Well, it's easy to play the part and not live the part.
Okay, right.
So I can sit here and say I'm clean and I'm doing all the stuff I'm supposed to do, but when it really comes down to nuts and bolts, I ain't doing shit.
Mm.
And if you don't work on yourself, how you gonna change? Without no pain, there's no change.
You weren't honest. Is that what you're saying?
I was not honest at all.
Is that what they say in the meetings, dude? That a lot of times we need to get honest
You have
with
to get
ourselves
honest.
and get honest with people. Let me tell you, let me tell you something, Raul, and I'm going to tell you, Ronnie. Let me tell you something that has stuck for the rest of my life. You met AJ. Remember AJ Jimenez?
Oh,
Old
yeah.
AJ.
Dude, they call him the Mayor of
They
Brookside.
call him the Mayor of Brookside. Anyway, dude, check this out. I've told Lisa and I've told all my family, bro, that and about this honesty thing. I was running from the law. I know you're surprised to hear that, but at one time I was running from the law.
Not
Right?
surprised.
Hit the yeah, that one. Oh, they found me.
You scared? Don't
Yeah,
run.
scared.
Don't run. Y'all calm down. Yeah.
Hey, so man, I remember when I was going to turn myself in, right? And I stopped by AJ's house, right? And he was outside on his porch sitting down, an older guy, right? And I went and told AJ, I was like, "Hey, AJ, listen, man, I just want to tell you that I'm going to go ahead and turn myself in, man. You know, I'm going to be gone for a while. And when I get back, I'm sure I'll probably, I'm going to stop doing drugs and drinking and all that stuff. And I'm going to be clean and everything's going to be cool." I respected AJ a lot, man. He had done a lot for me. And it was always there for me anyway. And I remember something, dude, I'll never forget. He says, "Well, son," he says, "I'm going to tell you something. If when you come back and you don't, stay," he talked about being sober. "If you don't stay sober and don't stop drinking and you hide it," he goes, "you will know. You can fool me. You'll fool everybody else around you." He goes, "but you will always know. And if you try to fool yourself, man, you're going to be living miserably." And I remember him saying that to me. And I was like, at the time, I was like, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? It still at the time didn't stick. Yeah, I didn't understand what that meant. But dude, after going into recovery, talking about getting honest with ourselves, man, that thought came back to me. So go ahead. Sorry that I interrupted you.
No, you're good. So I got everything. I got the vehicle. I got I got the apartment. I've accumulated all this stuff. Everybody's, "Oh man, you're doing so great." But
You were just faking the funk?
but I'm still empty inside.
Yeah.
So I have to fill it with something. And clothes and cars and nice shoes doesn't fill the hole.
Mm-hmm.
So I went right back to using it. So now I was shooting heroin in Texas and smoking crack at the same time. So now I picked
Double
up another.
whammy.
So now I picked up another habit, and I don't know what made me do it. I was just hanging out with some people, and they offered it, and of course,
Mm-hmm.
I was drinking, and I was like, what's the big deal? I'm
Right.
not gonna do this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
But little did I know, it was off to the races. So having that addict mentality, I stayed locked in the house for about a month.
Yeah.
And didn't come out. Was doing lots of dope by myself because I don't want to share with nobody at that point.
Right.
And I'm looking at the account. I had a good amount of my savings. I'm thinking $20,000. I'm like, shit, I'm the shit, man. You can't tell me shit.
And you were an active user of this?
I can retire.
I can, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's it.
In a 2-month time, I went through that $20,000, and then probably the credit cards I had, I maxed all them out, getting cash out. So
Pawn the car? No, not yet.
I thought about it. I didn't want the dope man to have my car because that's all I had.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, that,
Yeah.
whatever that means.
Yeah.
But I wasn't giving up my vehicle. But
at least that's what you thought at the time.
that's what I thought.
Right.
And so at that time I wasn't answering no calls from the family.
No? They would call you. You wouldn't answer the phone.
Wouldn't answer because I'm all messed up on dope. Something about my dad. Whenever I would talk to my dad, he would know if I was on something.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, what is that about? Yeah, that's weird.
It's just a father's intuition. It's weird as shit, but it's just he would know.
Yeah, man, that's odd.
It's crazy. And so at that point, my little brother was calling, and he was like, "Hey, I want to come see you. yada yada, and I'm like, nah, busy. I'm working a lot. All the jargon we put out there, and I went on like a 2-day binge, man, and I was thinking about getting clean again. I was like, yeah, man, I'm fixing to lose everything again. Like this is bad, and I was like, well, I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna try to quit, and I couldn't, man. You know how many days I woke up really honestly not wanting to do dope, and then 20 minutes later doing it again. That's the worst fucking feeling in the world, because your heart's in the right place, and your body's in the right place, but your mind isn't. And the mind is always there.
Yeah,
it's always present. Through all my shit, it's still here. Like the thoughts are still here. The process is still here. That's why I always say, wherever I go, there I am.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
would you have discussions with yourself, Ronnie, about, hey, listen, man, I need to stop. I
I'm
want
glad
to
you brought
stop.
that up. I used to
Share
plan
about
out.
that.
I used to plan out my funeral.
What?
Like for
What do you
real,
mean?
for
What
real?
does that mean?
I swear, I used to do the seating arrangement, like where my parents would be.
While
sitting.
you were high.
While I was high, I was like, because this is inevitable. I can't keep doing this and thinking everything's gonna work out. I used to lay out. Well, I hope my dad's in the front row, and I had a seating chart. It's the craziest shit ever.
I've never heard that before.
But you know what? It was reality for me, because what I was doing was not going to be sustainable.
Would you picture yourself in the casket?
Absolutely,
Really?
many times, absolutely. Because we're playing Russian roulette.
Yeah.
You're playing Russian roulette with your life every single day, multiple times a day. Sooner or later, the payment's coming. And so I hadn't answered the phone for a few days, and then I decided, well, so my stepdad had talked to my dad once again, and
About Ronnie.
Because regardless, people have problems in the past, but when it came to me, they came together, which was a beautiful fucking thing. I'm so grateful for it, because it saved my life probably. And they had come. My stepdad, I ran down the side step of the apartment, and he was coming up the other side. He's calling me. He's like, "Where you at?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm at such and such." He's like, "No, you're not. I know where you're at. Turn around, come back to the apartment, and let me in the apartment." The apartment's totally fucked up, like bad, like real bad. So I was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna let you in there."
So your apartment, you didn't want him coming into your apartment.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, "Yeah, go. All right, go ahead." He's like, "Look, you're to give me the key, or I'm gonna knock the door down. What are you gonna do?"
Your dad.
My stepdad.
Your stepdad.
Lester, yeah. I said, okay, I'll let you go in. And I remember him walking in. And remember I told you about my dad's face when he seen the blood running down my arm.
Yeah.
So my stepdad walks into the room, into the apartment, and he's like,
the fuck is
like,
this?
what's like, what you're doing, people don't come back from. And I had that same feeling that I did when I was in Maryland, with my dad. And it made me feel like shit.
Right.
It's like, why don't God just take me out? Like I'm tired of living like this. I'm not productive. I cause pain and heartache wherever I go. When Ronnie comes, hell's coming with him. And that's just the way it was. And so I kind of got clean. I went downtown. They got me in another rehab. I went to Brazos Place, which it's now a women's facility, but it was co-ed. I had 2 stints there. Of course, I was still homeless at that point. So
what do you mean you were homeless here in Texas?
Yeah,
I thought you were living with your stepdad.
No, I remember I had the apartment.
Oh, okay.
So then I lost the apartment, had to go to rehab, lost my job and everything. So I'm back to square one. I went to Last Chance Recovery Center. It's in Houston, off of TC Jester and 34th Street. I stayed there. My father would pay the rent for me to stay there, just so he would know I had a place to stay. I fucked that up and kept using. And so at that point, I have nothing. And now I'm on the street. And I don't wish that on anybody.
Yeah.
I really don't. Because I tell people, I've seen the worst things, and I've seen the best things in this life. But I don't want people to see the bad. Because it's not a fun place to be. It's not. And so to make a long story short, I went to Star of Hope. I was probably on the street for about a month, dibbing, dabbing, doing dope still, nowhere to sleep, eating out of trash cans, like didn't have nothing.
Like for real.
Yeah, like straight up, yeah.
Shit.
Would call my dad every once in a while just to let him know, hey, I was alive. But even at that point, he didn't want to take my calls anymore.
Really?
Of course. I mean, do you blame him?
No.
I mean, you're looking at 15 years of a fucking dope addict. You're looking at somebody like, hey, you're not going to change.
Hey,
man.
Ronnie, let me interrupt you real quick. One thing that I was, when we were in the group or when I used to share my my recovery, there was a lot of folks that shared. I'm gonna tell you, Ronnie, I
No, so go ahead. I'm sorry. We're sorry about that. We had a technical difficulty. Ricky, say what you were saying, bro.
I was talking about let me turn this off. What was I saying? What was I saying?
He was talking about he ate out of trash cans and he was at the Star
You were
of Hope.
sharing in the rooms.
And I don't remember what I was saying about
Man,
sharing.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. What was I saying? Keep going with what you were talking about.
So, I went to Star of Hope to stay because I know I needed a place to stay. Of course, I just wanted a shower.
Yeah.
And I had a little book bag and I had a pair of Jordans in there. Because I'm a real big shoe guy. So that's like all I had left.
That's all you had.
Wait. Hold up.
Yeah.
You were a homeless guy eating out of trash cans with a fresh pair of Jordans on?
With a fresh pair of Jordans.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's my man.
But it is what it is.
Right
but,
on.
because I still had a little bit of pride, whatever
Yeah.
that is.
let me tell you, man. I was at a
little bit of pride.
I was at a red light one time, man. There was a guy. He had a sign that said, "Hey, I'm hungry. I just need money for food." And this dude had the freshest pair of shoes on. Like I actually think they were Jordans, dude. And I remember that. I was like, man, your shoes are better than mine.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So then what happened?
So I stayed at Star of Hope, and of course somebody stole my bag.
They stole the Jordans.
They stole the JOs, man. And I was devastated, man. It's like, you're not devastated that you're a dope fiend and you're living on the street. You're upset because somebody stole your fucking shoes.
Yeah.
And I was helpless, man. And I knew I burned every bridge. I knew I couldn't call anybody. And I went to LCRC to ask if they could let me back in, and I would try to get a job to pay.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, yeah, we'll let you in for a few days and then try to get a job with one of the guys here and then make some money and pay for you to stay here. I had a bigger plan. So I planned on, again, trying to do as much dope as I can so I could check out. And I did that pretty good. Obviously not good enough, thank God. But so I did a whole bunch of dope, and then I called the ambulance for myself.
You wait. You knew you were ODing, or you just?
I knew I was ODing, so I before I could actually I'm on the payphone because that's when we had payphones, and I'm calling 911, and I'm like, hey, I'm at such and such gas station. I'm not good. I need somebody to come and get me.
For the current generation, what is a payphone?
What is that, man?
A payphone is something that no longer exists.
That's a device.
It's a device.
It's a device that you use that's in the corners.
Yeah, and so I can remember being in and out of it. I remember the ambulance drivers grabbing me and putting me in there, and my vitals are real low, and I kind of hear them talking, and they're pulling my license out.
Yeah.
And they're looking and they're saying, this guy's 29. He's not going to make it to 30.
Shit.
And I heard him say it. I could hear it. I don't know if it was my subconscious or what, but I heard him say it. And it gave me hope. Like that man talking shit about me gave me hope.
Mm.
And so I was, so I woke up like 2 days later, Memorial Herman downtown. And you guys want to talk about an empty feeling is waking up in a hospital off of OD and not being able to call anybody
Why couldn't you call anybody?
because I burned every bridge.
You know, did you even try? And were you too disappointed in yourself, too disappointed in yourself that you were afraid to call?
Prideful.
Not
Oh,
prideful.
no,
Probably
not
not prideful.
prideful.
No. I mean,
No.
just too beat down, thinking, man, I'm going to call them. They're already tired of my shit. They're not going to answer.
So you have to
Maybe.
understand, I did what I did to die, and I didn't succeed. So I was still a failure.
Fuck.
Mm.
That's
You
deep.
know,
Yeah.
you know, and so, and that's how I always seen myself, as a failure. And so, for the first time, I really wanted to get clean.
Mm.
Like I really wanted to get. I was like, I can do this. Like I'm here for a reason. I don't know why. I don't understand.
And you're thinking this when you're at the hospital.
Because they said we're going to discharge you, and I'm like, well, I ain't got nowhere to go. So I called the rehab place again, and of course worked something out where they said I could work or whatever. Shout out to LCRC. Thank you for giving me another opportunity. And but you know me, I'm an addict.
Mm.
So I get out, but I'm not using. But I still got stinking thinking, and I'm fucked up in the head, and I'm thinking about using.
Mm.
But I'm still homeless. So I'm like, damn, here I am. I'm clean for a few days, but I'm still homeless. I ain't got shit. So what am I staying clean for?
Mm.
I went to Star of Hope, stayed there one night, and the next night I couldn't get in because I stayed out too long.
Too late?
You have to
Yeah.
like be there at like 4:30 in the afternoon at Star of Hope in order.
And
for
where
them
the
to
hell
actually-
were you that you couldn't come back on time?
Just
If you don't mind
running-
me asking.
Just running the streets doing
Yeah?
stupid shit. Yeah, trying to eat.
But you were clean.
But I was clean,
Yeah.
And you knew you had to be there at a certain time?
and I knew that. But you know,
They'll make an exception
You're
for
gonna talk.
you.
You're gonna tell them something.
Yeah.
They're gonna let you in because you're gonna be talking. You're gonna talk your
exactly.
way into it.
I can bullshit anybody.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
But it didn't work.
It didn't work. And so I remember I sat across the street from Star of Hope. I can take y'all to the place right now. I sat across the street, and for the first time at 30 years old, I cried out to God, I need some fucking help. If you're real, please help me.
You were across the place that rejected you for the night.
True.
To put a roof over your head because you were tired, you wanted to sleep, you were hungry, you had stayed out, you didn't meet the criteria for this to be the easy thing. Just get here on time. You have a roof over your head, and you couldn't even do that, Ronnie. Right?
Nope.
So let me paint this picture. You're seeing across the place that rejected you, going, I'm worthless. Is that sitting there going, is that a pretty true statement?
So think of it this way, Ricky.
Yeah, go for it.
The dope is just a byproduct to how fucked up I am.
Mm-hmm.
The dope is just a vessel that I use to change my thoughts.
So you're saying it's not the dope isn't the problem, Ronnie? What are you saying?
The dope is part of the problem,
Okay.
but I'm part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I think and the way I was living was part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did all that dope to cause so much pain for everybody else, but guess what? It was only Ronnie on the street.
Yeah.
I was there by my fucking self.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't no friends hanging out or kumbaya and having bottles of water and crackers and shit. It was just me.
Mm-hmm. By yourself.
So all that pain I tried to cause, I became the byproduct of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the only one that had to feel it. Not to say that my family didn't struggle and had to go through the pain and heartache of, their kid being a drug addict
Mm-hmm.
and on the street. But for me, man, it had to happen that way. It had to happen that way. God knew he had to strip me of everything if I was going to do this. And I'm so grateful he did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm truly grateful that, because a lot of people ask me, would you change anything? Fuck no. Why would I?
Did you when you OD'd, bro? This is, I guess, a spiritual question. Did you see anything? Did you die?
No, I didn't die. I don't think I died, but I know it was almost time.
Yeah.
You know, like you kind of know.
Scare the shit out of yourself?
Oh, it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But you have to understand too. You're only one when you're shooting dope. You're only one shot away from checking out anyway. Regardless of what you do, whether you drink, whatever it is, that could be your last drink. You know, and for me, I was hoping that it would happen for so long, and so I cried out to God, man, and I asked him. I said, please help me, please, if you're real. And I think back now, and I'm like people would talk about God where I'm from, but it was never pushed like religion or nothing.
Like your family, or like you mean like Baltimore?
The environment.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah. And you like the drug scene?
No, just like my family.
Family.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like it was new to me.
Yeah.
But the beauty of it is, it had to be that way. If I would have known about God before and said, "Oh, you know, well, he'll forgive me" and all this other shit, I wouldn't have got to where I am now.
Ronnie, you know, let me tell you this thing. Now that we're talking about this thing called God, right? This entity, and you say something that resonates with me, man. Was one thing is to also too, man. I regret. I resent or regret, man, or resent maybe my parents that they never pushed this God thing on us. This is my personal thing. You know what, dude? I see a lot of people that like today, and I've talked to Raul before, and I think I've talked to you before about me sometimes being on the fence, man, about this with this spirituality, because I'm not religious. This when I came into the program, I had religion in mind. There's not religion isn't what I was looking for. They say it's looking for spirituality, becoming spiritual, right? And living my life under these new whatever. But I resented the fact that my dad, you know, other people, other friends, every Sunday is get dressed, put your Sunday clothes on, go to church, and you eat, and you have this kumbaya, that word that you used to talk about, that everybody gets together after church and they eat, you know, cornbread and watermelon and fried chicken and whatever you eat, right?
Where the hell do you go to church at, bro?
Man, I go where you eat all that shit.
I want to go where you're going.
Shoot, come on, man. Hey, but you know, we never did none of that, dude. It was always, my parents never instilled that in me. So I didn't know nothing about it, dude. I'm still learning about it. In fact, today, quite honestly, bro, I feel like I have failed in that department with my children. You don't have any kids yet, right, Ronnie? No, sure. But me, one thing that I also, when my daughters were little, dude, I didn't put that in them. You know what I mean? And I've always wanted to, and I resented, like I said, when I started getting clean, even before I got clean, bro, even when I was drinking and before all this came to head for me, I was like, why didn't my parents put this in me, man? I would have loved it. I would have liked it, I think. In fact, some people talk about that they were altar boys and they did this and they did that. And then they held some kind of a thing in the mass and all this. I think that's Catholic. Hell, I'm going to tell you one reason I stayed away from spirituality or the religion, if you may, was because it was boring.
Man, I was going to say that,
dude, it was boring,
bro.
Dude. It's just, but somebody said, dude, you know what's kind of boring? Being Catholic, man.
No, I agree 100%,
all that kind of stuff, man. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, forget all that.
And then you stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down.
They had like a prostitute underwear. You know what I mean? Up and down. God damn. Take it easy. Like a prostitute's underwear, up and down. Well, where's the applause?
Oh,
we have to label these, man.
Hey, this is your joke for the.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, nobody got it, bro.
Yeah. But you know that so me, dude. Again, with the spirituality thing, man. I wish that today sometimes I struggle, man. I struggle with that, man. You know, and I'm gonna tell you right now, and not that I'm derailing you. I know what you're sharing with us, but this is something that I'm struggling with today, Raul and Ronnie, is letting go, man, and having more faith in whatever. We use higher power in our program. You know, some people use God, some people use the other, right? To me, man, I'm in a transitioning stage, man, that I've been working on for the last 2-3 weeks. My wife Lisa and my children know this about me, that I am trying to be more spiritual, man. Spiritual. And I'm not, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you too. I'm gonna get more honest with this, man. I used to be embarrassed to say it.
Yeah.
I used to be embarrassed to say it because I felt like my brothers and my sisters would make fun of me, and some of my friends would make fun of me. I wouldn't talk anything about God and religion, not religion again, because the religion about God and Jesus and this, because I thought that whenever I would speak like that, man, that some of my family members would make fun of me. And I'm going to tell you, let me say one more thing before I shut up, is that I remember, I don't know if my brothers and sisters are listening, but I remember my grandfather and my dad used to make fun of like the, what do you call those ones that come knocking door to door?
Jehovah's
Witnesses, man.
Jehovah's Witness.
And then they used to call, hey, this guy got religion. He's a hallelujah, you know, or something. And I remember them making fun of him, dude. And I was like, maybe they're going to make fun of me too. If you know what I mean? And that was always over my head, dude. And so I mean, I don't know, man, that's something I just wanted to share that. And again, to me right now, I'm actually in the middle of that in my life that I'm working on, man. So anyway, share your experience on that, Ronnie.
I want to ask you a question.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you ever mess with needles?
No.
Yeah,
I never did. No, I never.
You got to be a different type of person,
well,
bro.
you know, look at him.
Yeah,
listen to this guy talk, man.
I don't mean that in a crazy way. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
I get it.
Yeah.
And well, check this out. You know why? I didn't like to go down, man. I didn't like the downer.
Oh, you were upper.
Oh man, shit! Look at me today.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm just ripping and rolling. I love that, dude. It's like weed. When I smoked weed, I smoked it to be sociable, but I didn't like it. I didn't like going down.
Yeah,
oh man, like
I can't
a rocket.
see him like
no,
just chilling.
Man. Oh no, man,
I don't understand how you sit through a movie. I can't picture you sitting down.
No, no, man. I used to leave, dude. I used to leave my children at the movie theater.
At least it's like you don't do it now, bro.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you binge watch on Netflix.
Oh, that's what he does.
Yeah, but not a movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, on this this spiritual thing, man. I'm actually in the middle of what do you call that? Not adapting it, but putting it into my life. Yeah, because you know what, Ronnie? I'm going to tell you, Ronnie. I've shared this with you before, and I think I might have shared it with Raul. I'm pretty certain that I have. Man, I said to myself, I've said that already, man, that I have been running my recovery in my life with fear. And I know you remember me sharing this, man, when I picked up my 10-year medallion. I don't know if you were there. I know you were there. But I said that at that time, I made a commitment to myself that I did my recovery every time. If there was ever a time that I wanted to drink a beer, at the very least, drink a beer or think that I can get away with something, man, I would think about something very fearful, something that really, really hurt me when I was using, like sitting in that closet, man, crying, hoping that I would die too. That, you know, hoping that I would think about these really dark places I used to go to, man, and think to myself, and that would scare me so much today or whatever during these 10 years. And I would go, no, man, hell no, I'm never going to use it again. I'm looking for that relief.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm looking for the peace that I could go. And that, I believe, like Ronnie has said it, and Ronnie's been on my ass about, you know, getting a sponsor and doing step work, because supposedly there's relief in the step work, man. And this is something that I'm working on. I mean, it's a personal thing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. How many years are you sitting at, man? What is your count right now, this moment?
How many years clean?
Sobriety. Yeah, clean.
12. I'm coming up on 13 in March. It'll be 13 years.
Man, how does it feel?
I don't want. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, no, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ronnie.
So, it feels good.
Yeah.
I'm just a kid from Baltimore, Maryland. I ain't even really supposed to be here.
Mm.
So every day I get, I'm grateful. You know, and I want everybody to know it's not about, the story can be gory, but the story can be glory.
Hmm.
That's what's up. I
you
like
know,
that.
You don't have to. Everybody's going through hard times, and I want to go back real quick to the praying to God for the first time and all that. I thought about that guy at Mercy Hospital who told me when I first went to my first rehab, and he told me, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to be by yourself.
Hmm.
And lo and behold, 7 years later, I was in another state with a drug habit with nobody,
By yourself.
by myself. So I'd like to give a shout out to that guy who tried to tell me, but also it took what it took. And just one more thing. Like I was saying before, you need to have somebody that believes in you.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was my stepdad. He meant a lot to me. Unfortunately, he passed.
When did he get to see any of your sobriety? Your sober time?
He got to see me get married, and he got to see me get my 1 year. And then I was able to put once he passed, I was able to put my 1 year chip in his casket.
Oh shit!
And right before he passed, a couple of days before he passed, he told me, because we would always have conversations, and he told me, he said, don't stop doing what you're doing. And he said, I want you to remember something. And I said, yeah, what's that? And because it's hard when you know somebody's going to pass away. You're trying to hold on to every little thing. But he told me that it was something I'll never forget. He says, don't quit on me. And I never have. And that's what drives me.
Yeah.
It fucking drives me, man. Like, you have no idea. Like, it lights a fire. And, a lot of people, will tell me too, hey, that was 13 years ago. That was a lifetime ago. Not for me. It was yesterday.
You remember it like yesterday?
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Man, let me ask you. You said you're married.
I'm married.
Do you, were you 100% with her?
Oh, she knew everything about me. Yeah, she's in the rooms. She's coming up on, what's today? The 3rd?
Yeah.
9 more days, she'll have 13 years.
Oh,
also.
So
she's been through.
Is that how y'all met?
We met in the rooms.
Get the hell out of here.
Lead us to it, man. Lead us to it. That's the part I wanted to lead us to it, man. Huh?
She's phenomenal.
He was 13 stepping. He was 13 stepping.
Look, bro. Hey, man, look, yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, man.
14 stepping.
I'm going to be honest.
Go for it, man. Share that.
I got to be honest, man. She's my rock.
Yeah.
And she came right at the right time.
Dude, that's what you need. I mean, you needed someone just like her, man.
I needed her.
You needed her.
And God
Absolutely.
knew it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
God knew it that I needed her, man, because, like,
she
keeps me steady. She keeps me steady. She keeps me straight. If I get a little crazy.
She's crazier.
She is.
Hey, man, we love you, Rachel.
But
I gotta meet her, man.
Dude, she's a firecracker, man.
But she's a blessing, man. She's always got my back, no matter what. And that's the beauty of it too, man. Is I'm able to bounce stuff off of her.
Yeah.
And when I'm struggling.
Dude, did you ever fight? Do you mind me asking? Do you ever fight?
Yeah, I mean, of course we have arguments and stuff like that.
Like me and Lisa.
But honestly, we're stronger together.
What does that mean?
Me and her together, nothing stop us. Anything we want to do, we're gonna fucking do it.
That's what's up.
Anything can happen. Anything is possible.
You feel that strong, huh?
Absolutely.
She makes you feel that strong.
Not only her, but God gave me that strength. That
really?
That's heavy duty. That day on the street, man. That day on the street, like he told me. He said, "You can. I got you.
Yeah.
You just do the footwork. I'll take care of the rest." And I've never looked back.
That?
I believe it with all my heart, man. Because you got to understand where I was at.
Ronnie. Give us some hope.
Where I was at, people don't come back from. I go back home. I told my wife about this when we first got together, and we would go back home to visit my parents when they lived in Maryland, and I would see people that used to know me, and they called me by my last name, Moeller, and they'd be like, "Moeller, you're alive? You're actually alive?" Yeah, motherfucker, I'm alive. But that just tells you, man, like people knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so if I can do this shit, man, anybody can do it. you have to be willing to do it. You got to put in the time. You got to put in what it takes, because regardless, this is still here.
Yeah.
And this is our worst enemy. You know, I used to say, "Oh, I got a lot of enemies out there. You know, I got to watch my back, and I gotta make sure I protect myself from all these people. I gotta protect me from me.
Yeah.
I have to. I have to do the necessary things to help me, because if I don't recover, nobody fucking recovers. Like I said, when I come, hell's coming with me.
Mm.
I told Ricky today. Me and Ricky talked earlier this morning. I said, Ricky, I said, it takes a lifetime to fix things. It takes 2.4 seconds to fuck it all up.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that's the truth.
Yeah.
So
I
we're
like
working.
that.
So we're working all this time
like
to fix all the records of our past or whatever comes up, and do all this shit.
Mm.
And one bad decision, 2 seconds
Fuck it all
from
up.
now, it's over,
Yeah.
and you got to start
Damn,
over.
It's deep, bro.
I'm not willing to start over.
But dude, and some people can't start over, man. Some people will. Some people will
I'm glad you
end it
said
there,
that.
man.
I'm
Some
glad
people
you
don't.
said
Yeah,
that.
say that.
'Cause
Share about that.
I want to talk to. This is for all the friends that I had to bury. Okay.
Sure.
And I'm not going to call them out by names, but unfortunately, I remember all their names.
Mm.
I don't have to write them down. I don't have to make a list.
Mm.
They're up here.
Mm.
And out of respect for their families, I won't say their names. But I'm their voice. You didn't die in vain.
Mm.
Because as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to keep fighting this shit.
Mm.
I'm not only going to fight for me, but I'm going to fight for the people I care about and the people that love me and gave me a chance. Because everybody gets a second chance. Everybody deserves a second chance. And nobody goes through this world without no help. I will say that again. Nobody goes through this world without any help. At some point, somebody needs help.
We all need somebody, man. And, hey, Ronnie, I know we're getting close on time, but I want to know how you met your wife. I'd like to know how y'all met, if you don't mind sharing that with us.
So
There must be a funny story behind that, man.
So actually, look, I ain't no pimp or nothing, but look,
wait.
I had a few tenderonis before I met her, and
tenderoni. What,
you
you
know,
Bobby Brown or what?
No.
Put the tenderoni, the clap.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have to put that machine over here, dog.
Yeah, no.
Claps. Tenderoni.
but you know, man,
Come on, let's hear it.
I knew her sister Nicole, and at the time Nicole was pregnant with her kid, which is now my goddaughter, and you know, Nicole was real good people, and I would try to hang out with Nicole a little bit, and then I met Rachel, and I knew as soon as I seen her, man, like I knew I was like that's gonna be my best friend.
You knew right off the bat. You felt it.
I fucking knew it, man. I knew it.
Did she know it though?
And and then she's gorgeous, and I'm like, man, she ain't gonna fall for my stupid ass. And that's Ricky. Imagine 2 years in, I was really fucked up with 3 months clean.
He was bad, man.
You know,
yeah.
She said, you and me both play.
Play hater.
You know, and so I knew it. I knew it, man. And I knew.
What do you mean you knew it? What does that mean, Ronnie? You knew it. What the fuck does that mean? Tell me. Share it.
To be honest, it's unconditional love. You can have unconditional love for people, but you have to prove it to them. And I knew if I got to spend time with her, I would show how genuine I was, and I wasn't fake. Anybody that knows me, I'm either all the way in or all the way out.
Right.
Yeah.
To my detriment, sometimes my dad tells me sometimes you're too cut and dry. Well, I would say to that, it fucking kept me alive, being cut and dry, because I can't play with this shit. If I go back, I'm probably not gonna make it back.
Dude, you know how I lassoed Lisa, my wife, with free hot dogs from Walgreens. Ain't that right, honey boo boo? I called her up and I said, Lisa.
What? You said Walgreens?
Walgreens. They were giving out free hot dogs. Yeah, they were giving out free hot dogs, and I called her up, and we had just met, man. Well, her and I had just met, and then in fact, her daughter was on a sling when we first met, and we all went to dinner after church, and her daughter was going to sit in front of me. She went and pushed her daughter out of the way with that. She had her arm was in a sling. Anyway,
you did for real?
Yeah, she did. And the next day or something after that, we've been talking. We became friends, right? And then I called her. I said, "Hey, what's about a guy like you and a girl like me go get a hot dog? You redhead?" And she had just worked like a crazy. Nurses work like 5 days in a row, like 100-hour shifts or something. I don't know, but it sounded like she was asleep. She's like, "Hello." I was like, "Hey, this is Ricky. What's up? Good morning." "Oh, hey." I was like, "Hey, listen, man. They're giving away I should have said they were selling, but they're giving away hot dogs right here at Walgreens, man. Do you want to go grab a hot dog?" And she got quiet for a minute. I was like, "And they're wrapping them with bacon too." She goes, "Yeah, sure. I'll be right there." I said, "I'll come get you." But anyway, that's how I lassoed my wife, dude, with a free hot dog with how did you lasso not lasso her, but how did you how did you and Rachel, how did you and her y'all, think y'all were gonna be friends?
So we became best friends. We hung out
Right off the bat, or did it take a while?
It didn't take long, man. No. We would hang out and we would spend time together. And then I think it was 6 months in. We were only together 6 months.
Have you ever been?
And I proposed at 6 months.
It's 6 months?
Really? No shit.
6 months.
Hey,
but we'll celebrate 12 years this coming.
You've
December.
never relapsed since her. I mean, you've never been. She doesn't know the active drug addict Ronnie, right?
No, she said she wouldn't be able to deal with me if that happened.
Right.
Yeah, she said she wouldn't be able to deal with me if I was on drugs.
Does that scare that scares you too?
No, I would never cause her that pain.
What does that mean?
I would never put myself in that situation to do that to her. I care too much and love her too much to put myself in a situation where I would fuck myself over. Because it's not always about me. Now it's about us. And we want to have a family. So that it's bigger than me now. It's not all about Ronnie.
That's awesome.
Ronnie, what do you do for a living, man?
So I work in healthcare. Now, mind you, I used to be an IV drug user. And now I put IVs in people. How fucking ironic.
Hey. So are you good at it?
He's damn good.
I'm real good at it. Look, I rarely miss.
Blindfolded.
Yeah. I rarely miss. You got to figure if I can hit myself, I don't have no problem hitting somebody else.
Bro.
But that's the beauty of it too, man. That God did that for me because I did a lot of felonies. But I was never found guilty.
Bro, that's insane.
I want to say something about Rachel, man. I have I'm going to tell you something. Ronnie and Rachel, like I mentioned before I introduced Ronnie coming onto the show, I had shared that Ronnie, and everybody knows by now that Ronnie and Rachel were there from the very beginning for me when I walked in. I'm very grateful for our friendship, and I'm grateful for them being in part of my recovery, a big part of my recovery. And although I stayed away from Ronnie, and I stayed away from Rachel too, but because Ronnie mostly because he made me nervous, man. He would share some crazy shit. But I remember on my first year, man, Rachel did something very nice for me, and it stayed with me forever. She on my first year, I was confused. I thought that when you get this first year, you would get balloons and cake and ice cream, and that the seas would open and all kinds of shit. I was like, hell yeah, you know what I mean? I showed up in fucking group, nothing, nothing, man. But anyway, the point that I'm getting at, man, I'll never forget, dude. I take this for me forever. Rachel made me a pineapple upside down cake.
Is that what she's the one who made that cake?
She's the one that made that. Yeah.
Hey, he won't shut up about that damn cake, bro.
Dude, it was amazing. I was like, so man, I can be likable again. You know what I mean? That started giving me hope. Dude, I was like, wait, I spent so much time people rejecting me and going, here comes this motherfucker again. You know what I mean? And I remember that Rachel shared, she goes, hey, listen, I remember she shared in the group, like, I thought about your freaking cake that I was gonna make for you, man. And she didn't even buy it, dude. She made it. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow,
That's what's
man, that was freaking awesome. And I'm gonna tell you something. So I'm gonna, I know it's getting close, Raul. In fact, we went over
You're good,
for
man.
a good while, but I'm
You're
gonna say
good.
this, man, that I want to thank Ronnie, man. Thank you for taking time to come and sharing your experience, strength, and hope, man. And thank you for getting honest with us, man. I appreciate your time. I want to go ahead and say this, man, with you and Rachel from the bottom of my heart, man. I really appreciate your friendship, man. And I'm going to say one more thing. I'm going to let Ronnie share a couple more things before we close, but I'm going to tell you something that I appreciate about Ronnie that I don't get from very, very many of my other group members, Raul, is that I share something very intimate with Ronnie, man, one time, and I'm not at liberty. I can't talk about it here, but I remember I shared something very intimate with Ronnie, man, and fucking Ronnie put me in my place. He made me mad. He made me mad
because he was real.
Because he was real with me, bro.
Yeah.
It made me mad because I was like, F you, man, and I left. And I remember after I left, he texted me, man, hey, bro, you know what, man, I love you, man. I love you. And then I'm gonna look, man. If you want me to co-sign your shit, I'm not the one. I'm not the one, man. I'm not the one, man. Look, Rick, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I can't co-sign that, man. I just can't do it.
Yeah,
you're effing up.
That's what's up.
And I was like, F you, man. Still, I'm not prepared for your shit right now. But the more I thought about it, bro, Raul, this is what we need, man. This is what I need.
Right,
I don't know
right.
about you,
and
I think you do that, and we all need to. We
brutal
need
truth.
Absolutely. I need somebody to tell me when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I need also somebody to pat me in the shoulder and give me a hug when I'm right and tell me, you know what, dude, you're doing fine, man. Keep going. Keep going. And I'm going to say, so anyway, I'll pass it over to Rose so we can shut us off or sign us off. Ronnie, you go next. You go next.
Say whatever you want to say,
Tell me what
man.
you want to share on that, man.
Yeah, you got to be honest. We lived a life for so long. How can you not be honest? If I came in here just to stop doing dope, I'd fall short. I get to do so many other things now. I get to be employable. I get to be trustworthy. Something I was not for so long. And there's hope.
There is hope.
Thank my stepdad for having hope. Thank you for believing in me and pushing me and lighting that fire that can't be put out by nobody. And my father and my mother and my stepmother and my friend John Norfolk, he was from back home. Shout out to Johnny No.
What up, Johnny?
And he
that's the one that let you crash at his house?
No, he was my best friend forever, and he still is. And he knows, he's seen me at my worst and he's seen me at my best. They were actually just here a month ago.
That's what's up.
Visiting, man.
Keep in touch. Yeah.
We do recover, people.
Man,
we do fucking recover, and the lie is dead.
Right on.
The lie is dead.
The claps.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You gotta tell him. But hey, man, thank y'all for this opportunity. Thank y'all for giving me this platform. My story's not unique, but it shows when God's in control, anything is possible. I appreciate y'all having me.
Right on, roll.
Man. Hey, golly. After hearing that entire story, man. Yeah, you definitely got to come back, man. I got a lot more questions I want to ask.
We're not done with you yet, man.
Yeah, man.
We're only touching the tip of the iceberg with this guy.
Definitely. And you were nervous.
Not really. I like talking about me, so I'm good.
Man, that's what's up. Hey, right on. You guys, if you haven't, man, be sure to like us on Facebook and share. Also, if you missed this, we'll be available on every podcast platform as of tomorrow morning. And be sure to check out bighousetothepenthouse.com. We'll have who we're having on. You'll be able to watch a live stream. Also on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our channel and man, just share it, man. We're just trying to change some lives and prove that we do
recover. Absolutely. The lie is dead, Ronnie.
The lie is dead.
The lie is dead. What do? We do recover, baby. Tell me.
Shout out to my wife.
Rachel, what's up?
Thank you for being so supportive. Thanks for always having my back, and thank you for giving me a second chance to be a better man, a better husband, and a better son. And thank God for all that also.
Right
First
on.
and foremost, because without him, I ain't shit.
There you go.
Hey, Eloy said Fajita Friday.
Right on, Friday lives.
You wouldn't be in the podcast without Eloy.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, this we'll be signing off soon, and we'll be signing because you know why the lie is dead, Ronnie and Raul. Tell me, why is the lie dead?
Man, because we
do
recover. We do
recover.
recover.